Philippine Standards for Special Libraries.
So we're going to discuss what is the standards for the special libraries here in the Philippines. But first, what is special libraries? According to Merriam-Webster, it is a privately owned library that forms a unit of a business firm or other organizational, specializes in book and other material of special interest to the organization of which it is a part and usually serve only the staff or members of this organization.
Standard 1. Mission Goals and Objectives. Letter A. General Statement. To provide efficient, accurate, relevant, and timely information service to its respective institution through a systematically organized collection, maintain a proactive role as information provider and disseminator to be globally competitive, as well as uphold and promote the principles of high ethical standards of library profession at all times.
In general statement, this is the main purpose of why the special libraries is established. The target that they want to achieve for their clientele and also for the service in their institution. It is also talks about the service of the institution that they can render to their clientele. In general, they want to give the best service that they provide for their clientele.
Letter B. Specific. Number 1. Update library reference collection and information resources in whatever for the information appears. Number 2. Upgrade library tools, equipment, facilities, as well as needed applicable technologies as may be necessary for the effective and wider dissemination, decentralization of information to its internal and external clients. And number 3, maintain written manuals of operations which shall include library policies, procedures, and regulation reviewed and revised regularly as circumstances may require to adapt to the changing needs.
Here, in the specific, it is the step-by-step procedure or the things that they will do inside their library that can help them to give the quality service that they can render to their clientele. It is the overall operational things that can help the users and the service be more efficient, mostly in getting the information resources that they need.
Standard 2. Administration. Letter A. Library Administrator or Manager.
So, what is library administrator or the manager? It is the person behind the library that can manage and organize the things inside or outside of the library. In number 1, it talks about the qualified person that can manage the library, which is no other than the librarian. But it also states that there you will not be called librarian as long as you are not a licensed librarian under RA 9246, other known as the Philippine Librarianship Act of 2003. The requirements for you to manage the library is that you have the expertise, experience, and specialized education in that particular job.
Number 2. The library administrator and director will be examined their skills and knowledge to ensure that the library staff or personnel is qualified for that position.
In number 3, it talks about the person which is responsible for selecting, acquiring, and purchasing the recommended reference collection that is applicable to the library, which is no other than the library director with the collaboration of the library committee. And also, how will the library administrator or director will secure their library collection?
Letter B. Social responsibility. As an information special libraries, your sense of responsibility is that you will give equal access to your library collection, tools, and technologies, but you will consider your library rules and regulation.
You will give equal access, but only for the specific clientele of that certain institution. You will make available a wide library reference collection so that your clientele will encourage to use the information resources through information communication technology.
Standard 3. Human Resources.
Letter A. The recruitment and selection will be accorded to the policy of the institution and the prevailing Philippine laws. Letter B. As the qualification, it will automatically choose the professional librarian to be managed the library.
There are three kinds of library personnel, which are the professional staff, paraprofessional staff, and the messenger or utility support staff. There are some qualifications for the library personnel. For professional staff, it is the librarian that has specialized skills with a particular subject or fields.
While in the paraprofessional staff, it is a college degree holder that has knowledge in IT or in government agencies or institution, also in civil service. Last is the messenger or utility support staff. It should be a college degree, but it might be as under college graduate as well.
Letter C. The number of the library staff will be depend upon the mission and vision of the library, types of the special library, and the types of the service. There are two types of special library, which is the government and the private.
Letter D. Training of staff for continuing professional education. So, they need a training for their library personnel or staff and librarian to further practice their expertise and further enhance their knowledge in their professional fields.
Number 1, they would be a separate training of the librarian and library staff that will be accredited by the Library Association and providers. And number 2, the staff may attend institution-sponsored training, workshop, etc. Standard 4, collection development. The collection will be depend upon the following.
In getting the scope and the size for your collection development, you will consider first the institution mission, vision, function, and which type of library service of each institution.
While in getting the growth of your collection, you will consider the budget allotment or fund allocation that is given by the institution.
B. Organization. In organizing your collection, the library should be used the General Standard, which is the Dewey Decimal Classification or DDC, or the Library Congress or LC. They also make an indexing for their collection.
Standard 5, services and utilization. Letter A, general. The library should provide information, services pertinent to the institution's information requirements. Letter B, special. The specialized library must provide materials and services appropriate to the organization's goal, size, number of staff, and institutional responsibilities, taking into consideration availability of other information resources.
The difference between the two is that general should provide service by institution information requirement. The information we get here is general, while in the special, you will give services and materials that will be fit to the goals, size, number of staff, and their institutional responsibilities. In special, you just get limited certain materials that is fit in their institution goals.
Letter C, library hours guidelines. Accessibility to the library services shall be during regular office hours and may be rendered beyond regular hours as the need arises.
Letter D. Technical services. Number 1, acquisitions. Number 2, cataloging and classification. And number 3, indexing.
Standard 6, physical facilities. Letter A, location. The library shall be centrally and conveniently accessible to the institution it serves. Letter B, physical arrangement is dependent on the following.
Number 1, you will consider what is need of your primary users. Number 2, make sure that there was an available space for the library. And number 3, what classification scheme will the library will use? Letter C, space allocation. In space allocation, you will need to have the following. Number 1, reading area where your users can comfortably read. Number 2, technical services area where the library process or technical work is done. And number 3, stock or the shelf areas where the books are arranged. It also helps the library collection well organized and managed.
Other areas as may be needed as required. Letter D. Levels of recommended illumination as required by the NBC. The location is reading room, 7.532 lumen meter. Storage, 7.532 lumen meter. And the staff areas, 3.228 lumen meter. Letter E. Furniture and equipment. The library shall provide adequate standard furniture and equipment for the needs of users, collections, and library staff. Number 1. Equipment.
Basic requirements are facsimile, photocopying machines, computer hardware, air conditioning unit, emergency light, telephone landline, and typewriter.
Optional requirements are online facilities, television monitor, video camera, audio cassette recorder.
Number 2, furniture, computer tables and swivel chairs, office staff, desks and chairs, cabinet for storage of supplies, filing cabinets for vertical files, magazine newspaper rack or stand, reading tables and chairs, bookshelves, bulletin board display.
Letter F. Security and control measures. To safeguard the library, security and control measures should be provided as follows.
Emergency exit, fire extinguishers, emergency warning device, security system, electronic surveillance system.
Standard 7. Information technology, facilities, and services. The special library shall have facilities for information technology and communication services.
Of course, we are in the modern world, and to help us make it easy to retrieve the information we need to have facilities for the information technology and communication services. Because one of the important services in the library is the communication, and our mission is to provide their information needs. If we do not communicate to our clientele, how will we know their information needs? Automatically, our services will be dead.
Standard 8. Financial resources. When it comes to financial resources, it's all about money. The library will need to have a budgetary support and they need to separate budget every year to support their finances.
Letter A. The total library budget shall cover the personnel, operating, and other necessary capital expenditures required to sustain an effective professional library service. Letter B. The library shall prepare an annual budget.
Standard 9. Linkages and networking. Special libraries must encourage resource sharing to enrich their collections, subject to existing policies of institution and government rules and regulations.
So by the word link, you will connect to other special libraries. Here, the special library need to be practiced the sharing to help improve the collection of subjects in accordance to the policies of the institution and the government rules and regulation.